This is still kind of part of the conversation, so I'm not giving a formal good morning yet. But this, to point this out, is the kind of morning where if I have a stop in place, I'm going to go make sure that stop is not set to trigger on the open. I like hard stops, and I'll do conditional stops on options where I say if XYZ is at or below 50, I'm out. I'm done. I'll do the same thing with targets. If it gets to a target, yeah, I'm done. I might not be there watching it or paying attention. It might not get there for very long. And I want to make sure that, right? So automation, I'm a big fan of. But if I have an at or below order, if I have a stop loss, if I own a stock, and what I would be doing here, I'm just going to pop this up. Now, Tesla might not be a great representation because, well, let's go see. Actually, maybe it would be. Now, we're not going to hold through earnings typically, right? That's, at least I'm not going to. That's one of my policies. But let's say it wasn't earnings. And I got in here because I thought it was bouncing. Yesterday wasn't great, but it wasn't like a break of support, right? So maybe I have a stop loss at, let's call it 235 down here. There's my stop, 235. Well, the problem is we are set to open at 226. We're going to open down here. What does that mean? It means that you're going to trigger, and are you going to get the price you wanted up at 238? No, of course not. Right? Of course not. You're going to get that gap down price. So if somebody has a stop order or a conditional order to sell Tesla at or below, 230 or 235 or 238, it's going to trigger on the open. What would I do? I'd take it off. I would take it off. Is that dangerous? Do we have rules of never remove your stop because it's going to get hit? There's always some exceptions, and this is calculated. Again, is there a time where this might hurt me? Yeah, and has, but mostly, vastly, it helps. It helps because number one, if you sell at market on the open, you're going to get the worst price of the day, right? And it's going to just absolutely demolish you, where even if it's a little lower 10 minutes or 20 minutes later when the market settles in, you'll get a better price. But most likely, and we're going to watch to see if this is what happens with Tesla. Press, good morning, and thank you for saying that. I'm glad that you're saying that. It's a tough one, right? And it's like, this is a good representation where I think we're likely to see it pop up a little bit. And it ends up being a candle that looks like this, where it gaps down and then it pops up and comes back. And all of a sudden, it's right back where it was. Okay. Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. So on a morning like today, we haven't seen one like this in a while, but on a morning like today where the S&P's down 0.9, the Dow 0.5, the NASDAQ 1.5, the Russell 0.6, there's chances that things might be triggering stops, and that's where I would be like, okay, let's pull it off. Let's let this thing open. Let's see what's going to happen. This is not... Now, things were starting to look good. We had a, right, Bob? Bob said earnings are down, but Elon's still getting that 50. Is that case settled? I thought that went to court because they weren't going to. And I love the fact that it hopefully has gotten to the point now where they're like, wait a second, Elon's the rainmaker. I don't know. Oh, they did allow it. They agreed to it. He got it. Yeah, he's all like suckers. Suckers. And that marks the beginning of the end of the Tesla play. Maybe not. We'll see. Okay, so SPY, yeah. We're going to open back down. Remember, we talk about the concept of a hiccup and allowing for that. So we had a pullback. We started bouncing. And it looks, right, you have this down here. Everything's looking pretty good. And now what? Now we're going to end up back at here. Yeah, that's tough. What might we see? We might see it sell off, come back, and then give us a doji at the end of the day. And all of a sudden, what do we have? A hammer at support. Don't panic. First of all, don't panic, because if you're bullish, you maybe only have, I would say, a bullish trade or two. Probably not a lot, right? Like most of the things that we've been talking about were setups, but not triggers. And so what all this does is give us one more day to wait for the trigger for a lot of trades. Any trade that you're in, that's where you're going to have to say, all right, I need to rely on my bullishness, still bullish. I need to rely on the fact that we know there are tendencies like this where you get a pop up, it comes back down, and it hiccups, and then it goes, right? So these coming out of transitions, it's not always just like this smooth, boom, we're gone. So we don't want to be like shaken out of the trade if it's not wrong. So make sure whatever you do have, just because it didn't go right today doesn't mean it's wrong yet. So let's see how this plays out. It'll be a good day for us to chat about the opening range, to watch, because nothing fundamentally has changed. It's just shook on earnings. We'll see how the market responds. Yeah, take a breath, and I'm still thinking opportunity. However, I completely forgot to do my intro. So anyways, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the midweek check-in that started 10 minutes ago, apparently. Here's our disclaimers, and this is what we're doing. We've already done most of it. Let's get into it. Oh, my ADD kicked in this morning. So what else is going on? So the futures are down. Tesla disappointed. Google disappointed. I had a trade that I was using this as a sample on, but nope, that's not Google. What's going on with my keyboard? Yeah, it's getting hit pretty good. 173. We're going to be down here. That's a nasty gap, and that's why I don't hold to earnings, right? That's why I'm not. That looked tradable. What happened? It got disrupted by earnings. Now we have to wait. Now Google is going to be in consolidation. Okay. Sorry. Sneeze on deck. Pardon me. Whew, the triple. Okay. This is funny, but I told my wife that since COVID, like I had COVID, I don't know, maybe a couple years ago, and I haven't had it a second time, but I had a lot of sneezing for COVID. And now I don't have 2 sneezes. I have 3 and sometimes 4. It's like, it used to be like you'd have 2 and then every now and again 3. COVID literally stepped up my sneeze game. I don't know. It's random. Okay, you guys are like, okay, Scott, we don't need to know that. You did. It's important information. It impacts the presentation sometimes, as you can clearly see. Google dropping Those are just two companies. I think that's not representative of the market. That's not representative of what earnings has been. And remember that we've already started to flag money shifting into growth sectors. We saw breakouts in financials, actually continuations in financials. We saw breakouts in consumer discretionary, and we saw breakouts in industrial to join financials, so that if there's a little bit of a pause in technical or technology and communication services, there's enough breadth now in the market to shoulder the burden temporarily. Okay, right? That's part of the conditions. 7 in a row you die. You've had nine in a row. I think 5 is my record actually. So, but it's been recent. The trend is likely to continue higher. Okay. What other information do we have coming up? Remember that we haven't heard from the Fed for a while. So the market has a little bit of the shakes. It's addicted. It's addicted to Fed crack, and we haven't gotten anything for a while, but we get it this week. So right now, I think we just have some jitters before we get our fix. Let's look at the calendar. Delta's IT outage is costing the airline $350 million in counting. I don't know. That doesn't really feel like that big of a number for Delta, does it? To you guys, like 350? I don't know. Like, yeah, it's a big number, but is that part of the? Is that connected to the CrowdStrike? I haven't looked at CrowdStrike since Friday either. Okay, there's the open. Today it looks like a lot, but it's not really that much. In fact, I would say there's really nothing in the market. That's why we're reacting. We have GDP tomorrow. That's important. Jobless claims. That's not that important. We have GDP on income and spending and PCE on Friday. So I think this information is going to be more important than what we're seeing going on right now. No need to look at the Fed watch. It is exactly the same. The market is in September mode. I can't really convince myself to get there, and that could lead to a shakeup. Right? That could lead to a shakeup. Anyways. Okay. All right. Let's go talk about it. So here's Google. Google opened. It's down a little bit. We'll go look at Tesla. Yeah. So a little bit of initial sell-off here. And I would just be waiting still. Right? Yeah, it's a tough one. That's why I don't like to hold to earnings, is because you're in this kind of a crapshoot right here. And it's gonna be dizzying for a little while, right? It's better not to watch. If you were in it, I would be like, don't sit and watch it for 20 minutes. That's for sure. Are you in trades? How are they holding up? How are they holding up today? Let's start going through, looking at a few things. I mean, here's Apple. I think Apple looks absolutely fine. Not much time before earnings. We have until the 1st of August after market. So that's a week, right? Let's say that this thing turns up by the end of today and gives us a decent looking signal. I think Apple looks fantastic. It's a market leader. It's in a great trend. Higher highs, higher lows. Looking pretty good. I could get a signal tomorrow, and I would have Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I got 6 days. That's fine. I would do it. I would still do it. No? Anyone else? Have an Apple call down a bit now. I'm okay with that because it's a bit. That's just it looks a little anticipatory. That's it. That's it. And in fact, yesterday you got your stochastic pinched. I think it looks fine. Down a little bit. Man, that's just the market letting you know. That's the market saying hello. Hello, fellas. Welcome to the party. You got to pay at the door. There's nothing unreasonable going on here yet. Patience. I think it looks fantastic. One of the things I would always ask myself is, if I wasn't in the trade now, would I think about getting in? That's always a measure to use, and the answer is 100% yes, right? Like absolutely. It's me again, the market, right? The market giggling, looking over your shoulder with a sneer on its face. Bastard. Okay. Ooh. What's next? Chips, I'm a little more selective, right? Same with consumers. So I'm not really in AVGO. It had its run, and then it gave back too much ground for me. AXP, I mean, it's a little bit choppy coming out of earnings, but it's looking viable to me, actually. Interestingly. But I think there's better. Boeing, I just watched, but I'm not trading that. How about Bank of America? Let's put that with Apple. Now look at our companies, Apple and Bank of America, just like that. Do we question the ability for them to lead? Those are two leaders, one from financials and one from technology. They look great. They're setting up. I'm absolutely interested in both of them. So convince me I'm wrong. BLDR. That's viable. That's viable like it's breaking the flag. Clearly it broke the consolidation. I told Gray Lynch he's going to see this pattern a lot. And there's step one right there. Big breakout, pullback. Now what? Price is starting to turn like it's breaking the flag. A lot of people will be like, oh, but the stochastics are overbought. Remember where we are. Stochastics is the last consideration. Back here, when it was making all of these moves up, guess what? It was overbought the entire time. Overbought is not a bad thing. It's overbought. So you're telling me there's a ton of buyers? Lots of buyers, you say? Well, that sounds interesting. And a trend already established? My goodness, man. You're talking my language. Yeah, that's worth thinking about, I would say. Citigroup. I think I like Bank of America better, but Citigroup looks viable. Caterpillar. Okay, now what? Is Caterpillar a leader? Yes. What sector? Industrials. Oh, goodness. We're not even through the C's, and we've got 3. One from each. Bingo, bango. That's all we're waiting for. Time before earnings. Check. Shoop. Okay. We're fine. Look at us. We're as we look at our list, would you look at this and be like, oh, it's a tumultuous day. What's going on? No. You'll be like, some areas are in tumult. I don't know. Is that how you would describe it? In tumult. In a state of tumultuity. Oh, the ADD is kicking today, you guys. I apologize. It's not intentional. Caterpillar, put it on the list. That's 3 now. All viable. CCL, actually, you could have took that one, I think. Same thing. Colgate, ooh. So it looks like it's holding. I'm thinking about it. No, I'm not. Earnings. Nope. Now we got to wait. Too close. CMG still waiting. Okay, Steven said something about oil. What did he say? He said he doesn't like oil going up again. I'm with you. I mean, I'm not like vastly concerned, but the oil trade looks like it's about to fire again. And there's time before earnings. Or you could always, look at, I would say XOP would probably be, this is the ETF. Same thing, right? So this one didn't have as much of a breakout as the last one, but we traded this, and now it looks like it's ready for another step. So if you don't like oil going up because of its inflationary pressures, just make sure that you are always ready to trade it. Remember, we considered an off cycle, so it gives us something that's a little bit non-correlated, right? Okay. No chips, Bob said. Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. Ready to trade oil, just don't like paying the gas prices. No, I get it. I know that you have to, you, especially if you're on the road and pulling a travel trailer with you, that's adds to the cost. COP looks a little better. I agree. I like COP a little better too. The only concern is the earnings. Has a little bit more upside. We have 8-1. I think I'd still maybe go with it, but yeah. Okay, Costco. Ooh. So this is one. I didn't trade Costco, but this definitely could have sucked you in. And this is a tough one, right? Because I don't think I would sell that. I think I would hold that. It hasn't broken. But you'd be losing money. Not laughing at you if you're in it. I'm just, chuckling. It's cost of doing business. CSX. Okay, now this is one that I liked, but you can see it's like, wait a second, though. Sometimes they just don't slow down the way they need to slow down. So when you think about this is almost 75% of the way back. I'd really like them to hold in there. So I'm not going to force, that's for sure. I might go look at other railroads to see if something's looking a little better, because that's where this is. But that's not really looking that attractive to me. Carvana, I'm still thinking about. 731. So that 731.81 is that next big window. Yeah, that's a maybe. That's a maybe. We have Apple. We have, okay, so this is, now we're looking for the consumer stock, right? Now we're looking for the consumer stock. Ford's looking viable. Carvana's looking viable. Fastenal is a candidate for an industrial trade like Caterpillar. Nothing for FCX. I think copper's bringing it down because gold seems okay. Bitcoin is kind of holding up. I keep telling you, I keep meaning to look into this. I might just bounce it because I don't think I would trade this, but maybe. I don't know. Gold is holding up. General Motors, I like Ford better. This just had earnings, didn't go great. Actually, the earnings were good. Expecting 266, got 306, but probably lowered some guidance. Oh, now looky at Google. Starting to show that hammer pattern, right? It gapped down, it sold off. Now it's coming back. Now, how foolish would somebody feel if they stopped out at the bottom at the worst and watched this thing come back? Not foolish. That's a bad word for it. How regretful. Foolish would maybe just be you didn't understand it. Regretful. And who knows? It may not recover. Let's see if Tesla's the same. Do I have Tesla on the list right now? I don't. Tesla. Oh, Tesla, not so much. Not so much. All right. Home Depot. Home Depot, viable candidate out of the consumer space. Well, the Russell's holding up fine today. Holding up just fine. Home Builders. Coca-Cola, not really anything there. Earnings coming up. Meta. So Meta looked like it wanted to try, but remember, I said Meta for me is in consolidation mode. So just be patient. Let's just be patient. It'll figure it out. And when it does, we'll be ready to trade it. MFC, still viable. MMM. No. Morgan. Oh, look at Morgan. Morgan's a nice leading financial company. I would probably do Morgan and Bank of America. And that's turning right there. Now it's early, but that's looking viable. Microsoft, no. Not yet. A little bit of a hiccup. Micron, no. Netflix, no. Nvidia. I'm with you, Bob. I just don't think the chips are making a compelling story right now. PLTR. I like it. It's starting to pull back. We'll see if it can do a setup before earnings, though, right? QQQ. Yeah, the Qs are looking a little, a little bit consolidation-y. It's a new word. This is representative of tech and communication services primarily. I still like Apple right now, though. And Apple is definitely a bellwether. It can help do the job. But for a lot of technology, I need to see this now. Right? Kind of reminiscent of what was going on back here to some extent, right? And we just want to wait to see this thing kind of pop up, come back and turn, and then we can say, all right, let's get going again. That's I'm a little bit iffy on tech and communication services. I'm still like Apple because the Apple signal looks strong, but other than that, it's a little iffy. TJX, not yet. TSM, there's the chips continuing to drop. There's the dollar coming back down. Okay, good to see that staying at or around the 50 and not popping again. Here's the VIX now. What's going on with the VIX? This didn't happen, first of all. It never went down to 10.6. I don't know why that's showing that way. It's insane that it didn't show that last week when we were analyzing it on Sunday, right? So why would it all of a sudden change a candle from 4 days ago? Charles Schwab's got to get to maintaining. Get some product managers on this thing and keep it up to date. But here's the concern. This looks like a higher low. Now, I say anything below 15 is a nice hedge, and we're at 16. So if you have some bullishness, you still might think about a hedge, right? So what is this? I feel like this is not. now it's locked me up. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, this pen does such a funny thing where it like locks me up. There we go. Okay. Let me switch the color. Back here, you'll notice we had the same kind of a thing, right? Where it had that first pop up, just like this. Boom. Whoops. Not quite that high. Then it had a little bit of a pullback, just like it's doing now. A little bit of a pullback. And then it moved to here. That's a concern right there. That is absolutely a concern. We should be concerned of that. So, you know, right now, that's kind of the line in the sand. But there's also times where I see things like this, where it goes up, pulls back, goes up, and then that was actually the start of a wonderful trading window. So we have two different possible scenarios here. You got to be ready for both, right? I've got to be ready for both. If this thing falls apart pretty quickly, yeah, I'm definitely looking more bullish. Next couple of days should be interesting for us, for sure. Oops. Let me get this back up. Walmart still looks great. Walmart still looks very bullish. No problems. Press. I'm with you. I actually just convinced my wife finally to get one next summer. So the travel trailer, hooking it up, gonna get good satellite internet. I'm gonna hit the open road. Okay. Let's see. In Walmart. Yeah, Walmart looks good. Okay. Well, any trades in particular that you... I got to tell you. Let's go look at the SPY again. Nope. I just typed that to you guys. SPY, everybody. That's where we're going. Okay. Yeah. It's funny because if you look at the SPY, it looks nasty. But if you look at our watch list, it looks okay. It looks okay. Our watch list looks quite strong, right? Okay, so let's look at a few things. Alibaba. Ooh, press. Nice. Wow, I like that. You can see very clearly. It kind of had a little first one right here. That would have been hard to catch. Nice move up. The hedge is up today, Bob. Nice, love it. Back down, starting to turn. I like this. Absolutely. Where is it? Consumer discretionary. All right, stop loss here. I'd probably look at a take profit here and extend maybe, I don't know, press. What do you think? Something like that? That's the thought. I like it. That's a good call out. Nice representation of the pattern. I'm just going to call it the pattern because it's probably the best pattern for trading over and over again. But I like that one. Thank you, sir. DAL. Oh, I'm curious about DAL losing 350 million. Is that much? I feel like it's not. DAL. I'm I don't know if this is your intention. So it was moving in this consolidation right here. And then all of a sudden, what happened? The consolidation accelerated and moved like this. There's a low, up. I don't. What was your thought on this, Michael? Were you feeling like this was in the pattern and starting to turn? If it turns, I agree. I mean, that's a hard one for people to trade sometimes because you're really. And the thing is, we're not trying to call a bottom, right? I'm not saying, hey, I'm catching a falling knife. I'm saying it's when it does this, it's done enough for me to be like, yeah, let's give it a shot. That tends to be when the next one of these back here gets started, right? Thinking put because of news. So for me, we're too late. We're too late. The news is out, and look at the last 2 days. How much has that news impacted it the last 2 days? Minimally at best. And that's at a time. The market's down 1.2. Delta's only down 0.6 with bad news. Market doesn't care. That's what we know now, right? That's what I was saying when I'm like 350 million a day, but is that huge to Delta? It can't be, right? It can't be. Someone asked ChatGPT what their annual revenues are so we can understand that number. I don't think it's that important. Palantir I like, but Palantir is overextended. Right? Palantir I like, but it's overextended right now. It's pulling back. I don't like it for a put because I don't buy weakness and I don't sell strength. And that's strong right there. Right? I'm not betting for that to go down. Yeah, okay. Good discussion on those things. I fundamentally, in fact, what'll be interesting is, you've been in it. How's it going? If you're in the puts, they've probably slowed down a little bit. No, I have to imagine that they've slowed down. That's information right there. That's information. If you have bad news and the market's down, 1.5%, 1%, and your stock that you have puts on looking for bad news is not dropping, don't let the buyers come in. Right? So for me, I think we're in a good place. Let's have a quick recap of some of our favorite candidates. I still like Apple for a technology play. Ooh, but not. This is why we wait. Apple was holding up at first. It's a long day. We're 26 minutes into the day. We have 6 more hours. I'm not going to look at this and be like, oh, yeah, Apple's not. By the end of the day, guess what it could look like? That could be right on top of the current candle. If the end of the day, and what do we consider that? A hammer. Where do hammers come? At support levels. That's exactly what we would expect to find if we thought this was finding support and bouncing. Nothing's changed. Let's be patient. Let's see. Remember, Glenn will be here this afternoon, chat about a few things with you guys. But as you look around, we have plenty of things. Bank of America looks great. Citi looks great. Caterpillar's looking fine. We're still waiting. Nothing has fundamentally changed. Our patience, I believe, is paying off. So no reason to change that mindset now. Morgan, I liked Morgan too. I like Bank of America, and I think you're right, Morgan. Morgan looked buyable, although you can see it's already shifted, right? Already shifted. That's what's happening this morning is It looked great, and then 15 minutes later, back down. Okay, the market's still settling in. We're not making any judgments 20, 30 minutes in. It's establishing the ranges so that we can have a better opportunity to say, is it good by the end of the day? Yeah, we're not in a rush. We're not going to force trades. We're still bullish. We still have opportunity. Yeah, okay. Good morning. I thought it was a great chat today. Let me know if we didn't cover anything that you were hoping to, but what we have coming up, we have the closing hour today. The closing hour with Glenn, that's going to be in the meetups. And then tomorrow we have the foundations sessions. Don't miss those. We're building trades. And with the number of setups we have, I have a feeling that we will walk away Thursday with at least one trade completely built and developed. So come in, participate, and then we'll go from there. Thanks, Press. You guys, honestly, it's very symbiotic. I've told people this for years. Just me talking about it myself is helpful. We all have to process it. That's why it's great to do it together. It's good to see everybody. Have a great. Hey, let's keep the conversation going though, right? Post chat. If you guys want to pop into a room, you can do that. Make sure you're taking advantage. If you want to continue the discussion and it's going well, you could put a message that just says, "Hey, I'm going to pop into meetups if anyone wants to join me." Just want to throw it at you guys. It doesn't have to end here. I'll be able to chat. So if you want to stay on, put some messages, I'll be around too. Anyways, have a great day. Good to see you guys. As always, happy trading.